This is the Fantasy Football 411 podcast. The best place to get the latest 411 on your fantasy football team. Here are your hosts, Alex and Amanda.
And welcome back to the Fantasy Football 411 podcast.
This is the best place to get the latest 411 for your fantasy football team.
I'm your host, Amanda.
And I'm Alex. In this episode, we are going to give you the latest recap on week 2. We are also going to get into a new hot and cold segment, which we introduced last week. And obviously before that, we're going to get into the latest 411. So with that being said, let's kick it off. We just got back from a Jets game. We're recording this on Monday night of week 2. So if we don't say anything about the Green Bay Packers or the Detroit Lions, it's because that game hasn't happened yet. Follow us on Twitter at FanFootball411 or follow us on socials to get the latest on that game. If anything happens, we'll post it there. So yeah, the game was a disaster against the Patriots. I'm sure you're aware. I mean, not much to say besides Zach Wilson's entrance was deafening. You know, when he came out to the stadium, you couldn't even hear, like, it was so freaking loud. It was unreal. Never experienced that in MetLife. Then his in-game play was blinding. He didn't want to see it. If his receivers couldn't catch the ball, he would throw right to a defender. It was pretty embarrassing. There were definitely some calls that I didn't agree with that I know she experienced too, or that she witnessed as well, which was like Mac Jones had a roughing the passer called on, or the Jets defense had a roughing the passer called on them. Mac Jones got sacked one time. I think he realistically got sacked like 4 times, if I'm wrong. I don't know. And then one of them got called back because of roughing the passer. And it was the worst call ever. He just got pushed down. I don't know. Patriots fashion. It happens. But either way, we had great seats.
Yeah, the seats were really nice.
We had great camaraderie. It was fun. But yeah, it
we
just
got burnt.
We did. We got
it was
yeah, it was pretty bad. So we got that wasn't fun. But either way, let's play a card game to make this whole situation a little bit better with the Jets. So
he told me we were going to play a game, and I don't know what's going on.
So I'm holding a card, and you have to. I'm going to give you 3 cards, and I bet you can't beat my 1 card's value. Okay, you ready?
Oh, okay.
All right, and this has to do with the Jets game. Sorry for this obstacle if you're watching this on YouTube right here, but obviously
she wants to play.
Our co-host is involved here. But anyways, go ahead. So what's your first card?
So my card says Justin Fields 1 interception for week 2.
Yep, not greater than my card.
Oh, okay. So I'm doing the way you, okay. Kyler Murray, 2 interceptions for week 2.
Nope. It's not greater than my card.
Okay. Matt Ryan, 3 interceptions for week 2.
Nope. Not greater than my card.
Okay. So what exactly is your card?
Okay. I was expecting that to go a lot quicker. It dragged. But either way, my card is Zach Wilson, 4 interceptions for week 2. It was bad. Yeah, it was bad. So 4 interceptions. Yeah, it wasn't fun. But yeah, I guess these are souvenirs now. So
we had fun though.
But yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was besides the game itself and the quality of the game, it was a blast.
I saw Salah.
Oh yeah, she got to see Robert Saleh.
I was trying to take pictures of him. He wouldn't come closer to our side of the field.
Well, they never made it down. If you watch the game, you would see they didn't have a touchdown, so they never made it down to our side of the field.
But I saw his little bald head.
Oh, you can see his head from like a mile away. It was just a shiner. But yeah, so that was the Jets game recap. If you watched it, you know what happened, so we don't need to get much into that. So before anything else, let's get into the latest 411.
So Jarvis Landry sprained his MCL, and so he is week to week, but not expected to play week 3. Perry's going to sprain her MCL if she doesn't get off this table.
Latest 411 is that Perry's going to just pull everything. All right. Anyways, sorry for that interruption. So QB Tua Tagovailoa, bruised ribs. His x-rays were negative for anything major, but depending on his pain tolerance, we'll see if he plays in week 3.
Carson Wentz has injuries to both of his ankles, and we will find out soon how bad his sprains are.
Wide receiver Lavishka. Chanel injured his shoulder. MRI is today. Like I said, we're recording this on Monday. You might have heard what happened. I did get an update. He is expected to play. It wasn't anything crazy, so do expect him for week 3.
Dalvin Cook sprained his ankle, but then he came back in the game.
Yeah, he did come back in the game. I think he's all right. We were actually, unfortunately, for week 2, we didn't get to see a lot of the action as it was happening because we were in the car on the way back. But we did listen to a lot of it. When Dalvin Cook went down, I was just thinking Alexander Mattison, and it was going to be the biggest waiver pickup. I was gonna at least put 30% down to get him. But I still think we'll get there. But this whole Dalvin Cook thing, he's going to play. But this just goes to show that you should have the handcuffs of these major running backs on standby. The next and final one we have on here, and like I said, if we missed any for the Monday night game or any others, just let us know at FanFootball411 on Twitter or any of the other social media platforms. But running back Daryl Henderson left the game with a rib injury. He came back, though, didn't he?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So he didn't come back. So that's something to monitor if you are a Henderson owner. And
both leagues.
Yeah, both leagues. That's right. So that's it for the injuries. Some fun stats to get into, which could lead into this segment, the waiver segment, technically, some of them. But to give you a little hint. But Derek Carr threw for 382 yards. He was 28 for 37 with 2 touchdowns. I mean, this is the second week in a row that he's throwing close to 400 or over 400.
Don't fall for it.
Well, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. Is like he's actually looking good this year.
No.
I was thinking the same exact thing, but yeah, I guess we'll see where we have him in the hot and cold segment.
Tom Brady, he threw for 276 yards and 5 touchdowns.
And he was 24 for 36 as well. So that was pretty impressive. No shock, Tom Brady. I just thought it was crazy how he threw for 5 touchdowns. Tony Pollard had 13 carries for 109 yards, averaging 8.2 yards per carry with 1 touchdown. Now, for Zeke Elliott owners like me, this is kind of worrisome, but look at that carry number. He only had 13 carries, so I'm not that scared, but this just goes to show that's a quality handcuff right there. If somebody would fall for a Trey Sermon trade, I would totally do that, make that happen, but it's probably not going to happen.
Do you remember I have Tony Pollard in there?
I know, that's why I was looking over at you.
Daniel Jones, he had 9 carries.
Yep.
Oh, 9 carries and 95 yards.
I threw this in there to throw you off.
10.6 yards.
Yep.
Per carry?
Yeah.
1 touchdown?
With 1 touchdown. It's almost like Daniel Jones is a running back. For a QB to put up those, I mean, it's not like crazy numbers, but I was just shocked that Daniel Jones made it past 40 yards without face planting. And he had 9 carries for 95 yards. That's 10.6 yards per carry. I know I'm repeating it, but it's just shocking that Daniel Jones had those stats. I don't think I'm going to pick him up or anything, but it is something to monitor. If he's going to keep running like this, you never know. He could be in a super flex league, he could be a QB2 easily if he keeps putting up these numbers. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire had 13 carries, 46 yards, averaging 3.5 yards per carry with 0 touchdowns. If you watch that game, that was last night, Sunday night, Baltimore versus Kansas City. He blew the game for the Chiefs. I mean, he had a fumble, handing it back to the Ravens. But it was a disaster. I am a CEH owner, so it does hurt me a little bit. But on the bright side, my opponent this week has Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, so it didn't bother me that much in the other league. I'll take a loss in the league I have him just because I'll be 1-1 then. I can't go 0-2 in the other league because I have Rodgers and Swift playing tonight. But moving on to the next one.
Tyler Lockett received 8 times for 178 yards and 1 touchdown.
Cooper Kupp.
Ooh, my Cooper Kupp.
Had 9 receptions for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. Very similar to Tyler Lockett's production there. That's why I kind of put them close to each other. But 2 touchdowns. So technically he would have been the better fantasy asset this week.
Kyle Pitts, 5 for 73 yards.
And the reason why we included that one in there is because it's Kyle Pitts. He's supposed to be this great, fantastic tight end, and he's putting up numbers like this. Give him some time. This is just the beginning. His first year in the NFL, just like any other rookie. Don't want to hint out any names like Zach Wilson, but it's going to take them time to, get going in this league. So no sweat there. Just figured I'd mention or have her mention that one.
And Derrick Henry had a good game too. So praise the fantasy football gods for letting him have a good game.
Oh my God. If he didn't, I would have had to hear about that.
All the way home, you would have had to hear.
Actually, matter of fact, when we first started the drive, she was whining about Derrick Henry. And it was basically along the lines of, oh my God, he's not doing anything. Wah. And I was listening to that. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a long ride home. Luckily, I'm not playing you this week. 1, 2, luckily he ended up putting up 50 points or something?
Almost 40.
Yeah, that's insane. Here is the hot and cold segment. We will start out with who we think is cold, or who I think is cold at least. It is starting out, it's wide receiver KJ Osborne with the Vikings. He's on a lot of people's radar after he went 5 for 91 and 1 touchdown. I just think that was a freak thing. If you watched it, he had one long catch that went way down the field. I don't know. I'm not picking him up. What do you think?
I don't think he's too bad. I believe he had a good week 1 as well. So I don't think he's that bad. I think if people are blocking and Justin Jefferson and Thielen.
Yeah, I guess in the competitive matchup it could be good, but it's not really something that stands out as hot though.
No, he's medium rare.
Okay, he's cold. If he's not hot, he's cold. we don't have a medium rare segment. It's just hot and cold. But anyways, all right, go ahead.
Wide receiver Quez Watkins, 2 for 117.
I think that's another fluke thing too. What about you? He was on the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't have any thoughts about him.
I mean, in the preseason, he had some impressive moments, I remember, and I heard some comps to Tyreek and stuff. It was pretty, interesting. I think he should be on your radar, but I think if you're going to the waiver wire, if tonight was waiver wire when you're listening to this, I wouldn't put any fab or anything down on him. I wouldn't make him a top priority.
Agree.
Quarterback Justin Fields went 6 for 13 for 60 yards and 1 interception and is playing the Browns in week 3, which is why I have him on cold. I don't think the Browns are, some magnificent defense, but I just don't see him as a starting fantasy quarterback yet. I got to see better numbers than 6 for 13. I mean, that's less than 50%. I mean, that's not great at all.
I don't think I've seen him play at all yet.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen different clips, but I'm just reading this on paper. Yeah. I mean, really, this week, if we got to see more of them, I guess I would see. But based on the highlights I saw and based on the different things I read, I'm not that hot on him this week. Oh, you'll like the next one.
Running back Sony Michel.
So technically, he's probably hot for you this week.
I don't.
Because he is Daryl Henderson's backup. I put him in the cold segment just because it's Sony Michel. It's not Tony Pollard. We've seen what he can do. Yes, he can run the ball. He is in the NFL. He has talent. But I just think Daryl Henderson is obviously the better back there, which is why he's the RB1 there. And they brought Sony Michel in for this reason, if anything were to happen to Henderson. I think you do put a waiver claim in on him, but he's in the cold segment because I don't recommend that you pick him up with a top waiver claim.
Yeah, I mean, I may have to if it comes out that Daryl's going to be out for an extended amount of time. I don't know how bad this rib injury is, but I might have to.
What if I pick up Sony Michel and I trade you for Tony Pollard? That's a good deal.
I don't.
All right, tried.
I don't know.
And then the final one in the cold segment I have is Ty Johnson on the Jets. We did get to see him run the ball this week. He looked good, but it is the Jets. Obviously, they have a lot of building to do. The offensive line is kind of in shambles right now after the injury with Becton, and then I think they switched stuff up. I think, yes, he's getting the most volume out of the backs there, but Michael Carter looked good in that game. He had like a pretty good runner catch, whatever we saw. And it's just a busy backfield. I just wouldn't put a top claim on him. Who's hot? That's just going to be a tradition now on. We didn't even mean to do it in episode 1 or in the last episode. We didn't even mean to do that, but we're just going to keep that tradition going on.
I'm sorry for that.
I'm not. I thought it was awesome. So one thing I forgot to mention last week, you probably have Kenneth Gainwell on your bench already. If you don't, I do recommend him. I don't really have him in the hot segment this week, but last week I think I did. But anyways, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But one thing I forgot to mention on him is that he did play better than Tony Pollard and Antonio Gibson when they played at Memphis together in college. So make sure you keep that in mind when it comes time to Kenny Gainwell. He has a lot of potential. No one's really talking about him. There's some whispers here and there since he's backing up Sanders, but Sanders hasn't played a full season to my knowledge. So he is somebody to stash, especially if you're a Sanders owner.
Wide receiver Michael Pittman, 8 receiving for 123 yards.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that he is in the hot segment. What about you?
Well, what did Pascal do?
Pascal went 5 for 38 with 1 touchdown. So I think Michael Pittman stood out as the wide receiver 1. I mean, Carson Wentz is out or dealing with an injury or whatever. So Jacob Eason could be the one throwing to him, which kind of, tempers expectations. But Michael Pittman is the one there. And I feel like in a team like that, that's going to be competitive with a top-end running back. You're going to want the wide receiver 1 there as well. In my book, he's hot this week. What about you?
I feel like it's going to change week to week, so I wouldn't go for him. Because last week it was Zach, this week it's Pittman, so I feel like it's just...
Tight end Max Williams stood out this week. He's the tight end for the Cardinals. He went 7 for 94 yards. I have him in the hot segment because he's a tight end. There's not a lot of tight ends out there that produce unless you already have them on your team, like the tight end ones like Gronk, Hawkinson, those guys. So Max Williams is like a tight end no one's really talking about. So if you're hurting at that position and you need somebody, I think you could rely on like some pretty good numbers. I mean, 7 for 94 yards is pretty good. Yes, a touchdown would have been nice, but he didn't get anything in week 1 for production, so it is a red flag there. But I don't think you would just throw him on the field, go 7 for 94 with that full squad there, Rondale Moore, Hopkins, all them. I don't think he's going to just disappear now. I think he's going to be factored in to that offense and utilize. Pick up Max Williams. I recommend it.
Now, did you do this on purpose? So I had to say this next name.
Yeah.
Derek Carr, which I don't recommend, but apparently this guy does.
I think he's a hot waiver pickup this week because of his production in week 1 and week 2. I want to fall for it that it's
It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a trap, but like it is every season. But I don't know. It is consistent. He is looking consistent on the field. He's got a great team around him. It's not a top-end team. They're not going for any Super Bowl or anything, but they're getting there. They just need a couple more high-end targets, but they do have one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I say he's a hot pickup this week.
You stand alone.
And then another one that I mentioned already, Tony Pollard. If he is on waivers for any chance, he's the hottest pickup of the week. Pick him up. Should have already had him, but I don't think he's on your waiver pickup. I don't think he's on your waiver wires. Check it out, see if he's there. But last but not least, running back, wide receiver, running back, whatever he is. But Cordero Patterson on the Falcons went 5 for 58 and 2 touchdowns. Gets mixed up with different teams. He was on the Bears. He gets utilized here and there on whatever team he's with. But I think in competitive matchups, which the Falcons do have quite a few of this season, he's going to be utilized, like going against Tampa Bay this week. I mean, 2 touchdowns. He's like a hybrid. He's a wide receiver and running back at the same time. I think he's a good pickup. He's definitely on my radar for waivers this week. What do you think? I
like him. I think he's a good pickup.
so far, this is the only one that you've agreed with so far. Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
So is there anybody that you think I'm forgetting?
Nope. I think that's it. I do want to mention that Zach Ertz has COVID. So I think he may play on Monday because he's been vaccinated. So there's a chance he can play on Monday, but just a heads up that. That
being said, Dallas Goedert, hot pickup if he's on waivers.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Good point. That was a good one. Moving on to the final thing. Let's get into week 3 matchups. Thursday night, we have the Carolina Panthers playing the Texans. This should be a good one. Sam Darnold did just have a good week against, who was that, the Saints? Yeah. Yes. For some reason.
Yeah, what happened there?
Zach Wilson tanks. Sam Darnold does well. Curious to see how that one goes. I would say play all Panthers, play all Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Colts against the Titans.
That's another good one. I think you could play everybody on both sides there too.
Let's just hope AJ Brown does a little something this time.
If it is Jacob Eason at quarterback for the Colts, play the Titans defense. Chargers and the Chiefs play Sunday. Play both sides.
Yeah. Falcons and the Giants.
Wow, they're kind of they're very similar, I guess, in quality.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, play Daniel Jones. See if you can get him in your running back. No, I would say play both sides in that one as well. Cardinals and the Jaguars. Cardinals are going to take that one. Jaguars aren't really playing to their best this season, so I think the Cardinals are going to be a better team there. I don't think it's going to be high scoring on both sides. I think the Cardinals are going to shut them down. That's my prediction. But I would say play both sides. Just whatever Jaguars you play, just know that they're not going to be top value.
Bengals at the Steelers.
That one's interesting just because the Bengals have been playing better than you would expect them to. So I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I want to say the Steelers are going to shut them down, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think this is going to be a close one.
Yeah, that's your prediction.
Yeah.
So play both sides?
Yeah.
The Bears and the Browns, I would play both sides. Justin Fields, I hold off on playing him, like I said in the waiver segment, but I would play anybody you can there. Obviously, keep an eye on Jarvis with his injury. And whatever top wide receiver is there for the Browns this week, which I think it would be like Peoples-Jones or somebody like that, go for him on waivers. If there's nobody else playing, just know that they're not going to put up Beckham numbers just because they're on the same team and the wide receiver won this week, but they are, worth a pickup if you need help at that position. What do you think of that game?
I think the Browns are going to take that one.
Yeah, the Bears haven't been playing as good as everybody expected so far this year.
The Ravens at the Lions.
Oh, that should be a good one. Goff put up better numbers than I thought he would in week 1, so play both sides. And
I don't really know who on the Lions you would just Swift and Hawkinson?
Just Swift. Just play Swift.
Why not Hawkinson?
Just because you just want to play Swift. Because I have Swift. No, yeah, Hawkinson and Swift would be the ones to play. Obviously, Goff if you need a QB. Superflex, definitely play Goff. But those would probably be the only ones on the Lions to play. Ravens, play them all. Whoever you got. Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews, Tyson Williams. What did he get last night?
He rushed 13 times for 77 yards and caught both of his targets for 16 yards. He led the backfield as expected, following Devontae Freeman, who rushed for 29 yards. But he did have a touchdown.
So he had pretty good numbers last night. I would definitely play Tyson then against the Lions. And whoever you would on the Ravens, obviously Lamar. The Jets play the Broncos.
Ugh.
I mean, I'm definitely playing the Broncos defense. Unbiased, obviously I have to. especially after how they played this week. Got to play whatever defense you can against them. Luckily, in the other league, I was playing the Patriots defense against them, so I did get some satisfaction out of that matchup. But I wouldn't play any Jets. I'd sit them all. I say sit them all like you have a whole lot of them anyways. I would
Corey
sit
Davis.
Yeah,
is like the only one.
Right. I would sit Corey Davis. I'd sit Ty Johnson if you have him. Sit Michael Carter. But Broncos, I'd play them all. I'd play every single one of them.
Saints at Patriots. I don't know what's going on with the Saints this week. So
I think the Saints have it in that one. I think I don't think the Patriots, despite beating the Jets, I mean, the Jets looked horrible, but despite beating the Jets, I don't think the Patriots looked that great at all as a team. I think a competitive team, or I say competitive team, I think a good team like the Saints or any of these very competitive ones like Cardinals or Chiefs, I think they're going to smoke the Patriots unless Patriots fix some of their injuries they have, like Van Noy. If they all come back, then obviously it switches everything. Like Stephon Gilmore's not even playing. So once that changes, then the Patriots, I think, could stand up to them. But I think the Saints easily take that one. I would probably play everybody on both sides, but I don't think it's going to be that close of a game. I also don't think it's going to be a shutout, but I think they're going to win at least by 2 touchdowns. That's my guess. Dolphins and Raiders, another competitive one. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game if we do get Tua in there. I think the Raiders have it, though. I think the Raiders are going to take that one.
They're on a winning streak.
And Derek Carr is looking great, right?
No.
And the Dolphins' defense is pretty good, so I don't want to just say it's going to be a shutout, but I think that it's leaning to the Raiders, especially with the momentum they have right now.
Washington at the Bills.
I think defensively that'll be back and forth, but I think the Bills take that one. I'd play both sides on that one. What do you think?
The Bills haven't looked that great, but yeah. It's Diggs and Diggs.
Diggs and Diggs, yeah. Diggs and Diggs.
I don't know. Singletary, he did well.
Oh, yeah.
Week,
unfortunately, on my bench, yeah.
It is Washington's defense, so.
True. In the afternoon games, more in the afternoon, we got Buccaneers and Rams. That's another one that'll go back and forth, I think. Those are 2 great teams. I'm actually looking forward to that game. I'd play both sides, but obviously know that I would kind of guess that that's going to be a low-scoring game. That'd be my guess. I don't know. I mean, last night with the Chiefs in Baltimore, I think that was a high-scoring game, and they were kind of equal teams, talent-wise, or close to it. So I don't know. I think that you don't sit anybody on Tampa Bay or LA. I think you play both sides.
Seahawks with the Vikings.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That should be a good one. I mean, Cousins, oof, but
yeah, I'd play all Seahawks. I'd play your Vikings too. I mean, like I said, I'm not really throwing KJ Osborne out there, but I think Justin Jefferson, Thielen, Dalvin Cook play him. If Dalvin Cook plays, but he should. A sprained ankle, I mean, who knows? But if not, Madison, big waiver pickup this week. Getting down to the final ones. Sunday night, you have the Packers and 49ers. I think that's going to be a good one. I can't wait to see what the Packers do tonight. That we're recording this before the Lions and Packers game. If they do great, I think that's going to be a great game. If Aaron Rodgers chokes tonight, then I might have to buy into all the conspiracies going around about him tanking. But if all goes well, Packers versus Niners, I think you play both sides, and that'll be a good game.
I'm more so looking forward to the Peyton Manning dialogue throughout the
Monday
game.
night tonight. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the Mannings are on. I think it's ESPN, so check that out. They talk through the whole game and go over every play.
It's pretty entertaining. And then Monday night, we got the Eagles at Cowboys.
Oh, that's fun.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, play both sides. I think that'll be a pretty good score on that. I think the Cowboys will take it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for week 3 matchups. Follow us on social media at
FanFootball411.
And subscribe to us on YouTube and wherever you find us. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know if you have any questions or anything on Twitter. Good luck this week.